Welcome to Marlo Monday. I'm your host, Steve Reynolds. And for the next few weeks, we're going to focus on some books that are not readily available. And today we're going to read from the good book of Marlo. And this chapter is Marlo Magazine number 6. Can I get a hallelujah? And we will focus on his ace, 2, 3, 4 to pockets. And here we read from Marlo, the above effect is based on an original Elmsley effect in which he used the ace 2, 3 of a suit. Art Altman and myself worked out several versions. Now I will make a side note here that Marlo continually celebrated the work and his friendship with Art Altman and others like Carmen D'Amico long after their passing. All right, we continue. Because Elmsley never published his original version, they never published theirs. However, since Larry Jennings saw fit to publish the Elmsley approach with no credit for the inspirational source, using 4 assigned aces under the title of Ambidextrous Travellers, he opened the door for others to come up with their particular handling. Can I get an oh snap? And now we will look at Marlo's observations of this effect. Marlo's observations, and we'll focus in on one particular one, was that you can be a klutz at palming and still get a great reaction from this trick. If you're performing for laymen, you could flub all your palms. You could flash everything. So that when you get to the second phase, when you're already loaded with 3 of the aces, you'll be able to palm just one and get a great reaction because it's a clean removal of each of those other cards. And this was an interesting observation. Also, with regard to performing for magicians, most magicians would, or at least knowledgeable cardmen, would be able to spot the tells even if you were a good palmer. Say you were a great palmer for performing for magicians. Then you'll fool them on the second go-round. Now, keep in mind that this was published in 1988 when the Ambidextrous Travellers was not well known. It had just come out the year before in the Jennings book. So these observations are for for that time period. But we can learn a lot from contemplating those ideas. Now let's look at Marlo's version of this trick and see how he handled the method. So, the spectator can name any ace to 4 of any suit, and we will use the diamonds, ace, 2, 3, and 4, and they can sign these cards, incidentally. 4 separate spots. And we'll lose them, and we will heed the advice of Marlo in the multiple shift book and give the deck 1 cut. Now the effect here is that each card will travel to different spots or different pockets from the different spots. The inside pockets and the 2 outer pockets. Okay? And to make this happen, we just rub the sides of the pack. That should be the first one. Yes. And we'll take each one as they travel and lose them back in the pack, face up. Okay? So for the second one, we rub the sides. And, oh yeah, there's the second one. And we'll lose the second one, the 2 of diamonds, into the pack. Rub the sides. And if we did this correctly, there should be one more card. Yes, there's the 3 in the pocket. Now the 4 we'll put, or the 3 we'll put here, and we're going to go for the 4. We'll lose those. I say those. That one. Rub like that. And if we did that correctly, the 4, yes, there it is. The 4 should be in the pocket. Now we'll take that last one face up like the rest. So what we have here, we have the 4, there's the next one, the 3, the next one, the 2, and finally the ace. Now each one of those will travel again from its face down position back into the pockets, and we just give the cards a rub, and this time a riffle. So that's number 1. That's number 2. The third one, number 3. And the fourth one, there it is, number 4. Thank you. Now, while this effect was never in my active repertoire, in other words, Marlo's version, the original observation about being a klutz at palming, or it doesn't matter if the audience catches your palms, because you'll wind up getting a great reaction in the second phase. But I thought, if that's the case, then why palm at all? Why go through that? If it doesn't matter if they catch you, and this goes hand in hand with his other observation that really you're repeating the same effect. Let's just say they don't catch your palms, or let's just say they don't suspect your palms. Then you're really just repeating the effect. Now, Mark D'Souza suggested that, yeah, that's true, but the tempo is different. The tempo is more direct, which is true, which I can appreciate. But how much of a difference are you going to get? How much more effect are you going to get out of it? I mean, the strength of the effect, yeah, may be notched up 1 or 2 notches, but really, I want to go through the roof at that point, because it's a killer effect, especially with the trouble-free removal of each card from the pockets. I mean, really, if you look at Tom Stone's Tracking Mr. Fogg, he points out that the goal is to isolate the second phase of Jennings' Ambidextrous Travellers. That's the purity. That's the pure version of Travelers. No palming. Minimal palming. So it looks exactly the way it would look if you were a magician. You slap the pack, the cards are in the pockets. And so, taking Marlo's observations, I was able to construct a method that I had published in my booklet SRO, but also that's out of print. But it is on my Monk's Way DVD, and this takes full advantage of that idea that Marlo set down, and that is if you're going to if your palming is not up to speed, you can still get a good reaction from the second phase. But my thinking was, if that's the case, then why palm at all? And so that approach also remedies what D'Souza had told me, which is that the second phase is actually, a more direct. But my counter to that, of course, was how much more effect are you going to get out of it? So that version that I worked out based on this Marlo observation really took that idea to heart, and was allowed me to work on what I think is one of the most direct versions of the Ambidextrous Travellers that I've come across. So I want to thank Marlo for his inspiration, and I want to thank you all for joining me today. And next week we're going to dive deeper into the Book of Marlo. Thank you, brothers and sisters. There's muffins in the back.